What would happen if you hit a ball that was pitched at light speed? I found this one interesting because a ball flies through the air, but this ball would be moving so fast that the air molecules wouldn't be going around the ball as normal. The ball would be hitting the atoms and the air molecules and fusing to the ball. We don't know exactly what would happen, but we suspect explosions. And this was one of a few that I found quite interesting. But pause this video right now. Go and read What If by
Randall Munroe. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So, I would recommend you guys avoid this book. I did not enjoy it. It was a whole lot of random questions, just like the ones we posed. And we've taken a few of them to talk about.
Very, very few.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's just bang, bang, bang.
I have to hold my hands up. I didn't pick this one. But what it was like, how can you fumble what ifs? Like, Jesus Christ, there's infinite possibilities. And what I believe this author went with, there was 2 or 3 interesting ones per 10 or per 15 that we're listening to. These are the kind of ratio that we're dealing with. So most of your time...
And you skip through some of them as well. Like, say questions and answer them immediately and move on in between chapters.
Yeah, 100%.
Like so,
literally.
Oh,
no, it wasn't great, man. I fumbled. It wasn't humbled. But let's get into it. Okay. Are there more hard things or soft things in the world?
See, this is an example of bullshit.
No, it was, but he said this when he was a child. So this is why I gave it. So this is like how he opened into the book. When our author Randall Munroe was a child, he remembers asking his mother if there were more hard things or soft things in the world. Years later, Randall counts this as evidence that there are, in fact, such things as stupid questions, since hard and soft are concepts. Something that we perceive as soft, like a shag carpet, may be like a forest of redwood trees to an ant or a cockroach. We know diamonds are definitely hard and cotton wool is definitely soft. We can't pinpoint the exact moment that something soft becomes hard and vice versa. I was waiting to see when this lands as well. But in all seriousness, there are actual things as stupid questions. And I think it really only was more of this because, do you remember that? Is there more cars or was it wheels or doors in the world?
Was that outnumbered?
Huh?
Where is that?
No, it was just a thing that was going around on the internet. Are there more wheels or doors in the world? Don't you remember that?
No.
Like, are there more
wheels?
What
was the answer?
What do you think the answer is? No one ever found out the answer. Like, you'd have to... like, look at that building out there. Surely, and that's not even a skyscraper. Think about a skyscraper.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where I work in a skyscraper.
Yeah,
so I work on the 35th floor of a skyscraper.
There's a lot of lorries, though, and they got a lot of wheels.
And
everything is moved around by lorries. That's why that skyscraper's there.
100%. But think about the skyscraper.
And
how many doors...
Think about it, right? A door is forever. Pretty much.
Do you know what I mean?
Wheels and tyres, they're getting manufactured.
100%. And it gets down to the thing where you're thinking about, let's take
they
a car.
last forever.
How many doors on a car, how many wheels on a car?
And tyres, pretty much, it's very hard to get rid of them.
Think about Hot Wheels. Those count.
That's true,
So that's a whole new ballpark.
Even the Ferris wheels as well.
Oh my God. Let's see, it's ridiculous. See, we're doing this guy's book better than him already.
That's an interesting question. What if we all had a soulmate? One other human that we were assigned to or assigned with, and only one person is our soulmate. Our only way that we could be truly happy.
This is the one that got into your list. This never get my list because it just wasn't. I was just like, really?
Well, that would be a problem because the chances of us meeting them is 0%. Especially when you realise our soulmate could have been somebody in the past, like 1,000 years ago, or even 1,000 years into the future. Not to mention on the other side of the planet. The reason why this got in is because this is a real life question. Because women believe that people have soulmates. No,
there's a lot of men that believe as well.
No, but it's ridiculous. I mean, people ask me, "Oh, we're just perfect for each other, aren't we?" And I'm just like, I'm easygoing. I'm easygoing. I could really have anybody if you just shut up, cook my food. We could just, you know what I mean?
Man said we could make it work.
Yeah, we could. Arranged marriages are a thing for.
There's no one. There's just the next one.
Yeah. She was never.
Arranged.
It's just your turn.
It's just your turn. That's a good point to be fair. Arranged marriages and they will last decades as well.
Yeah, and they will end up loving each other.
They learn to love each other. It's
just familiar. When we're creatures of habit, you can get used to someone.
Yeah.
Think about it. Why do so many? Well, I was going to say, why do so many siblings get on, but some siblings don't get on?
They don't get on.
I would say more siblings get on than don't get on, surely.
Are there more wheels or doors in the world? You know, you would never know. What if we all jumped at once? This is not a question exclusive to Randall Munro's What If. This is something I've seen postulated before. What if every living human, all 8 billion of us, congregated in one spot and jumped? Could we actually move the Earth? Well, the answer is yes. The Earth weighs about 6 sextillion tons, which is a 6 followed by 21 zeros. This is about 10 trillion tons more than the collective human species weighs. So the Earth weighs about 10 trillion tons more than all of us put together. If we all congregated...
It's like that much.
If we all congregated and shuffled together as tightly as possible while still allowing sufficient room to jump, and then jumped, we would briefly move the Earth the distance about equal to the width of a hydrogen atom. And then when we land, we'd push it back. So nothing would happen, basically. Less than nothing, actually.
It's not nothing.
So the reason why I put that in there is because it just goes to show how insignificant humans actually are. Like, we can't really affect anything that we see.
Could you imagine the queues for the toilets?
I know the men's queue would be shorter than the women's queue. I don't know that much.
If everybody on Earth pointed a laser towards the moon, could we change the colour of the moon to red? The answer... yes, but only if you used a megawatt laser, which is world's most powerful laser. If you covered every square inch of Asia with a megawatt laser and pointed them all towards the moon, the power needed to run those lasers would drain every drop of oil that we have on the planet in 2 minutes. But yes, the moon would glow red. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, worth it.
Oh,
you'd need
2 whole minutes as well. It's not like 2 seconds.
Yeah, you'd need 50 trillion lasers. Well, at least I thought it was worth it till I realised that that amount of power would not only leave the moon glowing red hot, but it could ignite the atmosphere on the planet Earth, killing everybody. Well, it might not kill everybody immediately, so still worth it. After the atmosphere ignites, the oceans would eventually boil away, and then that would definitely kill the remaining living things on the planet.
And all we've done is change the colour of the moon briefly.
That's it.
It's not even permanent. Briefly, we've changed the colour of the moon.
Igniting the atmosphere.
No one could ever take that away from us.
What does that even...
We've changed the colour of the moon.
Well, there would be no one to document that.
That would be the greatest feat of humanity ever, though. Just in terms of the cosmos. It's the greatest... We've changed the colour of a moon. Like, what?
I don't know. Maybe.
Some of these are the most boring, uninteresting what-ifs that they could possibly have picked. How do you fumble a bunch of questions that people wonder if science can answer? I could have written this more interesting. In fact, I'll prove it. And to be fair, when I wrote this, I didn't realise there was a very, very, very similar point coming up. So it's just ridiculous.
So it's like
what if you could cook a chicken by slapping it? As we know from the first law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed. Therefore, if you move your hand to strike a raw chicken, your hand has kinetic energy. If you contact said chicken, your hand will stop, but the kinetic energy it had must go somewhere. More specifically, it transfers to the chicken as heat energy, which is why it stings when you get slapped. So if kinesis becomes heat, surely it should be possible to slap a chicken hard enough to raise the temperature and actually cook it. Based on some calculations by a man called Rhett Allain, it would take 491,000 slaps in rapid succession. At a rate of 1 slap per second, this would take around 5 to 6 days. So theoretically, if you want roasting it on Sunday, if you start slapping your chicken around Tuesday and don't stop until Sunday, it will be ready just in time. So a couple of chapters, like 10 or 15 chapters ahead, one of the questions was, how far or how hard would I have to drop a steak to cook it on the floor?
I've got here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, may as well let you go then, isn't it?
I'll say it now then.
Yeah.
What height do you have to drop a steak from for it to be cooked when it hits the ground?
Cooked up perfect medium rare.
The answer is 250 kilometers high. Now, I will admit, I didn't actually know there was that much distance between us and space. I thought you could go up like 5 miles or so. Did you know that experts have suggested that the actual boundary between Earth and space lies anywhere from up to more than 1.6 million kilometers away?
Jesus.
Did you know that?
I didn't know it was millions.
So
I know there's different layers of the atmosphere and what they're called, but I don't know how far.
But you can go up for 1.6 million kilometers. You can go up before you're definitely in space, which is crazy. So it's subject to debate. They say it's anywhere between 20k and 1.6. Because anywhere,
I would have thought like 100,000 kilometers, like bro, and like now that's high. Do you know what I mean? 1.6 million.
Because you look at it, it's just there.
You can see the moon from here. Do you know what I mean?
It can't be that far away.
1.6 million. Yeah, that's insane.
Interesting.
What if we could fly using machine guns? A basic principle of firing a gun is gun goes skudududuk and you go back. So logically, if gun could go skibby you could go up. Technically, it would be more using the principle of machine guns to fly rather than actual machine guns, but the point still stands. As long as the thrust to weight ratio is in your favour, meaning the machine guns produce more thrust than they cost in weight, the AK-47, for example, is capable of issuing 607.62mm rounds of ammunition inside 1 Earth minute, which is 10 rounds per second, giving it a sufficient thrust to weight ratio to theoretically get itself off the ground. So basically, if you point the AK-47 down and you could somehow take the trigger, so it kept firing forever.
As opposed to them jihadis that put it up in the sky.
And if you could make it fire into the ground, theoretically it should rise up, if it had unlimited bullets, of course, which it couldn't. Bearing in mind, guns get lighter the more they fire. 2 or 3 or 4 AKs could lift a human. The only drawback is the AK's high rate of fire means you get like 3 seconds of flight maximum, because there's not that many. But we're 10 rounds a second. That's 10 rounds.
What's it? 30,
do you know what I mean?
30 bullets and a banana clip.
Do you know what I mean? And it's 600 rounds a minute. 600. That's insane rate of fire. On the side note, AK-47 might actually just be the greatest rifle of all time, to be fair, because it doesn't break, it doesn't jam. Water, sand have no effect on it. It's a design from 1947.
Have you seen a video of FPS Russia taking it out of the water?
Oh,
he said, I left this.
No, wasn't that the AA-12? That might have been the AA-12, the shotgun.
He's done it for a lot of videos.
He's done it for a lot. I mean, you could definitely do it with AK-47.
Yeah, he's done it. So he basically took it out of the water. She said, I left this, 10 days.
Took it out. Straight away, ready to go.
He said you can come out the water firing. You can fire underground, underwater, and come out.
Literally ready to go. The M16s that the British used to use, I don't know if they're still using them.
Bit of sand in there.
Oh, Jesus.
And they stopped working.
It's done.
That's why, this is why you see Americans, when they're walking across rivers, they hold their guns.
Yeah,
this is why. Because their guns are shit.
Well, it's not necessarily that they're shit. It's because, first of all, the AK-47 has no electronics and it's just machinery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, Americans like to use guns, electronics in the scope, electronics in sensors, electronics in the laser sight, electronics in this, electronics in that. You get sand or water in that, it's not going to work anymore. So, they're technically better because AK-47, if you try to hit something further than 50 yards with that, you're not going to hit anything. You'll probably hit everything other than what you're aiming for. Do you know what I mean? Even if you put a scope on it, it doesn't matter. Which one I'd rather the level of recoil on it as well.
I want an AK.
I definitely want
gold.
an AK. Solid gold AK.
Come in gold?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I have it.
100%. Solid gold AK. But it's not the same, because the rifles that Western countries use are a lot more accurate. It's not even close. A lot more accurate. That's why you see the Taliban. They man ain't aiming. They're not aiming.
Listen, that's why that monkey missed everybody. With the AK.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
But yeah, the design's from 1947. It's a long time ago, They stood the test of time.
Yeah, definitely. I've got one about guns too.
I've literally got one left.
I've got...
What do you got left?
I've got 2. Yeah. Well, I've got 3. This one and 2. So I would say... No, I've actually got 2. I said the steak one.
Yeah.
If you mounted 2 really big machine guns on a car, specifically the GAU-8, the Avenger, only the coolest name in the world.
Oh, come on.
It's basically a chain gun that can shoot 70 bullets a second. That's over insane. 4,000 rounds a minute. But if you were to mount those machine guns on the front of your car and put the car in neutral, the guns would generate so much force from the recoil that your car would break the speed limit in less than 3 seconds. Problem is, if you were shooting 2 of those guns in a built-up area where there are speed cameras, 3 points on your license is the least of your worries.
The very least. It's the least of everyone else's worries.
3 seconds, 70
That's
bullets.
insane. That's 700 bullets in 10 seconds.
Joe.
What?
What are you shooting at?
Why is it not dead already?
They said there's so much force that they mount them to helicopters, and it breaks the mount when you lay it off.
Nah, that's insane. I need one of those immediately.
In America you could probably just buy one of those.
Come on, find it next to the orange juice in Walmart.
Jokes.
How many different ways can you shuffle a deck of playing cards? That is to say, how many totally unique combinations of a deck of cards could you create if you sat down and rearranged them into every possible unique sequence? The answer, as revealed by astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, is 52 times 51 times 50 times 49 times 48 and so on, all the way until you get down to 1. You're literally multiplying the 52 possibilities of the first card by the 51 possibilities of the second card, etc. That sequence is called 52 factorial, otherwise known as 8 times 10 to the 67th power, and 8 followed by 67 zeros. You, puny human with your puny human brain, cannot possibly conceive how large that number is. So let me tell you, let's say you set a timer from 52 factorial to expire at 0. And while the timer is ticking, you circumnavigated the planet's equator by foot. And let's say you went at the leisurely pace of 1 step every billion years. Every lap of the equator, at the pace of 1 step every billion years, you remove a single drop of water from the Pacific Ocean. If you did that, 1 step around the equator every billion years, removing 1 drop from the Pacific Ocean every lap, by the time the ocean was dry, the timer would not even be a third of the way done. That is insane. I've always said, and you think you're only timing 52 downwards. It's not like insane numbers, but there's only 9 numbers. The rest are just combinations of the same 9 numbers. Do you know what I mean? Maths is crazy. It's crazy.
So that's how much times you can shuffle a deck.
There's possibilities.
You can
so
exhaust
they say
ocean.
we know if you shuffle a deck properly, we can say with good confidence that combination has never been done before. There's that many combinations. If you shuffle a deck now, we can say with good confidence that is an entirely unique combination that's never been done in the history of humanity. Ever.
And won't ever be.
Ever again.
And it's funny, because I thought you was going to say, if you shuffle a deck, you've never played those combinations, but you're saying
nobody ever. We can say with good confidence, just because of the likelihood of it being repeated, is insane.
Cool. Bullshit.
They're one of them unfalsifiable facts.
Yeah. So if you made a journey around the equator and you took 1 step
every billion years, and every lap, every full lap, which surely must be billions and billions of years.
Oh, you removed trillions.
You removed a drop of water from the Pacific Ocean, and you did that until the Pacific Ocean is dry.
Just drink it.
Dry. They literally said there was something else where it was like every lap that you made, you put a sheet of paper on the floor, and when the stack of paper reaches the sun, like, and crazy things like that, you take a pound off Mount Everest, and when Everest is on the leveled, insane levels of the mouth, because your times it 52 by 51 down to 0, and I ran it through the calculator, and the numbers weren't even making sense. It was like 2e dot. I was like, that's not. You can't count up to that.
If everybody on the planet stayed away from each other, could we eradicate the common cold?
This was actually a good one, to be fair.
So just to be clear, you actually catch and then pass on your cold before you actually feel the symptoms of the cold. And talking of symptoms, runny nose, sore throat, high temperature, etc. are not symptoms of the virus. That is your body's response to fighting off the infection. But in theory, we could eradicate the cold if everybody isolated and stayed away 2 meters away from everybody else for, let's say, a week. But the loss of productivity would trigger a global economic disaster. Governments and banks would go bankrupt. Plus, the common cold is actually a good thing. Children that aren't exposed to colds have weaker immune systems and develop immune disorders when they're adults, which is probably the most fascinating part. This is one of those things that you would never foresee when using one of your 3 wishes that a magical genie gave you to never have a cold again.
Yeah, I know, right?
So this is one of those things you would never foresee that.
You can't see that backfiring. It's just not in your frame of reference.
You know what I mean?
But backfire it will. Maybe that's why we don't have wishes. God decided you don't need those, because you wish for stupid stuff. Literally, he said, my design is perfect. You don't need no wishes.
But that's weird. Imagine now we've got when you catch a cold, you've got to think of it as a good thing. And you also really your body, like, so for example...
And you also have to think about it as an exercise in futility, wishing you didn't have it, because by the time you feel it, you've got it and passed it on.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking to this girl, and she said, my child's sick, I need to get him some Calpol, right? I was like, what's wrong with them? She was like, she's got a high temperature, so I'm going to get some Calpol, because it just could bring the temperature down. And I said to her, but... High temperature is a good thing. That's your body. The body's trying to
basically burn the cold off.
Yeah. So we put these products into our bodies that that inhibit our body.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird. You don't drink cold drinks when you have a cold, do you? You drink hot drinks because you want to bring your temperature up to fight the infection. Yada yada yada.
So
you drink tea and things like that. So
it's weird. It's weird. We think.
And what does Calpol do anyway?
I had to Google. Listen, I had to Google.
What's in Calpol?
Listen, Joseph, I had to Google what's in Calpol.
What's xanthan gum?
If it didn't say what it is, bruv, they couldn't even tell you what it's supposed to do. It says Calpol can make your baby's tummy feel better. It was, bruv, if you read it, I'm gonna show you after. It's like it's written for children.
Yeah, of course.
It's written. It's
so weird.
It's
We just give to our babies.
All it is, I'm telling you, it had no claims on there. It wasn't like Calpol will do this. It can make. You know, we know you parents want your children to be happy and stuff like that. It's like, is this a scientific product or
bro,
what?
do you know what I mean? I'm trying to find some information.
Yeah.
And you're there telling me about happy tum-tums.
Yeah, that's
like
literally what it was saying. It's a joke. But yeah, I don't have a quote for that end because it was your job to do that. I did the other video.
So you were the one last week.
I think everybody knows.
Oh, they don't know.
No one's watching anyway.
Yeah, they don't know anything. Oh yeah, what to change? I was supposed to have a time on the first one and take it off, like I normally do.
Do you?
But
never noticed. But yeah, don't read the book.
Yeah, we've actually taken out all the best parts for you. So if you've watched this video, this is a much more streamlined and expedited way of reading the book. The rest of it is driven with my personal opinion.
Yeah. But yeah,
we're funnier as well.
Till next time.
Till next time.